cost.
Through the magic of the Cybernet Space Cube, the computer-enhanced podcast of the future, Transformers Slag Podcast. What's up, everybody? How we all doing this Saturday night? It's the Transformers Slag Podcast Saturday Night live stream main event. I am your host, Proto Man. I'm the face that runs this place. I'm the voice you hear Monday to Friday, and it is Saturday. And man, oh man, do we got a quite the storm looming in the background for the next couple of days. The arguments, the fighting, the yelling, the blaming, it's not this, oh, it's this, you're an idiot, that's an idiot. Welcome to yet again another Haslab coming, but we'll get into that in a moment. But nothing gets the fandom eating at each other like a Haslab item. But we're going to cover the news today like we always do. And just great to see everybody here today. Who do we got in the chat? Let's take a look. See, we got David Cabal looking at the Royal Rumble. I'm going to be catching that later tonight. I'm predicting Seth Rollins to win that, possibly. Bigham is here. We got Cringe McCringle. We got Horned Owl. We got James Hopkins. We got T-Formers 2002, Tom Laney. We got Billy B. I saw him in the chat too, one of my patrons. Let's see, what else do we got here? Who else? Oh, we got Space Ghostals here. Princeton Phalanx 59, Ashnud, Cringe McCringle, a lot of them. Hope I don't miss nobody. Mike Rosen, Orlando Chavez, Ritrick, and Ashnud. Everyone's here already. Just always like to give a shout out to the people who support the podcast because they're the best. Black Crow Vengeance. Let's see what Black Crow says here. Sorry, Proto, I couldn't attend the last few streams. Ever since my birthday is the first week of every month, my sleep schedule is a hassle to deal with. And I haven't had the time to do them. Hey, brother, I understand, man. I understand. I had a friend who he used to work for a Japanese company, And so even though while he lived here in the Western world, he had to work on Japan time, so he'd always be awake in the hours when we were sleeping, and that like messed him up so bad. We didn't see him for like 3 months because you just couldn't hang out with the dude. So I hear you completely. I don't blame you. Hey, sleep is important. It's what keeps you young. But all right, guys, so we got a lot to cover today. Got a lot of news to talk about, a lot of speculation, a lot of probably finance stuff we're going to have a little discussion of too because of a big expensive item that is going to be coming. So let's do that, shall we? Let's jump into what we got. And the first thing, before we get into the really expensive, let's get into the not so expensive. And of course, if you want to give your opinion, super chat down below, hit that super chat button, help support the podcast like we always do. And
Megatron must be
already Space Ghost
stopped,
to Haslab, go
no
big or go
matter the
home.
cost.
Primus. We'll see. We'll see. But let's talk about some cheapy items first. This comes courtesy of Hasbro Chile and the Authentics line. We got a whole bunch of items here. And even with the Authentics line, we're seeing a celebration of the 40th anniversary. The Transformers Authentics line has been around since 2017, and they've been putting out a few items here and there every couple of years, doing a couple characters. Last year during the Beast Wars, Rise of the Beast year, we got some Beast characters in that. We got a Cheetor, we got an Optimus Primal. The year before that, we got an RC. So, it's an interesting line for low budget, low cost, Market 6 kind of items. Again, this was a Brian Goldner idea that was pretty much planned back in 2016. They saw how the sales for Transformers were not strong in South America and different regions, and bootlegs were pretty prevalent there. And they were like, hey, is there a way somehow we could target that market and maybe sell something there that is not as expensive, a little more low cost, and thus they could still engage with our brand and our IP. And that's kind of where they went. And this is what Authentics is. And so we got the Optimus, we got the Bumblebee, we got the Grimlock, which I feel is a huge step up from the old Authentics Grimlock. We got the Megatron, we got the larger Megatron, and the largest of the Titan Changers, not Titan class, Titan Changers Wheeljack. Again, this doesn't really speak to 90% of us. Unless we get like a really interesting twister turn like we got with the RC or the Bravo scale Wheeljack, which was pretty cool. Go check that one out. Most of these don't really speak to us as collectors. They're more novelty pieces at best. This really is more for a target demo market. And yeah, but you'll probably be seeing them in your closeout stores, Market 6 locations, and above. But yeah, not much really I could say about that. Just want to just kind of cover it again for those who missed the individual segment this week. Shame on you if you didn't. But let's jump into what else we got. Let's talk about a Target exclusive. We didn't talk about this week. Didn't really get a chance to, but now we do. In Target's computers, there was a listing for a future Super 7 reaction item. And this one doesn't surprise me because if you got a Megatron Beast Wars Season 1 mold, you might as well. And I mean, what do you expect? This guy's been getting a lot of love, oddly enough, for a character that had very little fictional appearances. We're talking about Beast Machines, Dinobots leader, T-Rex, and yeah, he's getting a repaint from the Super 7 non-transformable reaction figure of Megatron. And it's going to be a Target exclusive, just like the past one. And it's kind of amazing because you have like, here's like the original T-Rex. This was the very first version. Straight up repaint of that original Megatron Beast Wars toy. And was alluded to be the rebirth of Grimlock. Never was really confirmed, just kind of suggested that it was Grimlock reborn in a new body, separate from the Beast Wars Grimlock that was also reborn in a new body that had gold plastic, but that's a whole other conversation. Anyways, this guy happened. He got some fiction in some BotCon exclusive comic books, not much else really, unfortunately. And that was the end of him. But then, of course, we got the Target exclusive one here. This was the Kingdom one that got the repaint, and I guess Target loved the character so much, and Lord knows I do. What a great looking mold with his silver lips. I still feel they screwed up on that face there. I feel it was supposed to have the grinning face. And now we got this one. So if you're a fan of if you're like the one and only fan of T-Rex, yeah, he's getting one here too. Getting one here too. Good stuff. Love it, love it, love it. I'm actually kind of interested in this because it's an obscure Beast Wars character or Beast era character. So we will see. We will see what happens with that, but pretty cool. This is just right now not a pre-order image, but just a stock image that's on the Target computers right now. Is even on their website if you look it up, and will probably be the basic MSRP. It is what it is. Next up, we got some updated images of our Transformers Studio Series Wave 2 2024 Deluxe Class Bumblebee Movie Concept Art Sunstreaker. We had some photos last week. I cleaned them up. It was the best we could do. And then, of course, a slew of amazing photos hit right here and looking really good. I'll be honest with you. I like how the two guns could kind of be like put on the back of the vehicle that kind of emulates that rear middle engine that the original Sunstreaker had. Kind of is able to do that. So I think it looks really good. I think it looks really good. I dig it. Um, some people were not a fan of the choice of yellow. I get it. I get it. I think that, the problem with yellow, and I think it was Aaron Archer that talked about this, was, if you do yellow too bright, it becomes almost like translucent and transparent. And then it doesn't look good with Transformers because if you have a shell of an alt mode that's like a bright yellow, then all of those darker plastics that'll make the body parts of the robot are going to show through that yellow. And that's why we have like bumblebees that are either like more of an orangey yellow or a painted yellow on top of whatever that base plastic would be, maybe even a normal yellow on it and then painted on top. I think it looks good though. I dig it. And speaking of Sunstreaker, what's up, Larry? How you doing? So I think it looks cool. This is a nicer photo shoot from what we got last time. Really shows how nice this looks, and it opens up the doorway to now what we could expect of other concept art characters. They're really, really willing to go the extra mile, and maybe we'll see a Sideswipe. Maybe we'll see some of the others. Who knows? Who knows? But I like it. I like it a lot. Opens the floodgates. And then we have, of course, without Sunstreaker, you wouldn't have others. But the plan is right now is with this listing, we have that Sunstreaker. We got that Gnaw, which is, it's going to be a package refresh. We already saw the Shockwave. The Starscream Core class we have not seen yet, but I'm pretty sure we'll see at some point. Maybe it'll be teased this Transformer Tuesday. And of course, that Leader Class 86 Dinobot Swoop, which everyone is eagerly anticipating how that's going to turn out and what he's going to come with. But we also have that Deluxe Class War for Cybertron Sideswipe on that list. And that, too, we got to see for the very first time this week. And I'm actually quite surprised how well it turned out. They managed to really make it thinner than the original. The original was pretty buff, the 2012 release. It was very, bubbled up, and it had to do double duty in a lot of ways as a mold because it was sharing it with I was going to say Meister because I think that's what it was listed under at the time, but Jazz. And yeah, man, looks great. Looks great. I think it matches the animation model of the CG model in the game much better. And yeah, I think it looks fantastic. We got some scale photos. We got some alt mode photos. The alt mode looks more or less the same as the that 2012 version. They kind of hit it out of the park there. I think this one's a little better only because it doesn't have the gun peg on the roof, which ruins the final like sleep of the design. Again, my only criticism is just I wish and again, there's nothing we could do, but I just wish that deluxe classes kind of had a little more paint budget and we could get something that was like painted really nice and get that, that CG model, dark, metallic, glistening, weathered War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron. You've captured C, you've captured B for anyone who's played online. Probably just alienated a whole bunch of people that never played the games. But looks really good. Looks really good. And someone said it in the comments, I forget who it was, but it's totally true too. A lot of people back in the day when they used to make their custom characters, if you were like of the racer type, you usually used a body that was very similar to this Sideswipe. So if you're a customizer and you want to make a custom of a character that you made in the game back in the day that you used to play, like my character was Proto and it was like a red and yellow kind of, Autobot scout character. This would be kind of the basis for that. So pretty cool stuff. Comes with the machine gun, which I believe was the second weakest gun in the game, if I remember correctly. And yeah, good stuff. Very excited about it. Again, that's also going to be part of that wave 2 for April 2024, which I guarantee probably coming up at the live stream on Tuesday. If we're not going to see this in a teaser, we're definitely going to get like a space bridge kind of like expect this next live stream, and then it'll go live because April 2024 is when it's going to be shipping out. So you know how it is. They reveal it and then it goes on Hasbro Pulse for pre-order. So there's only so much time. So we'll see what happens with that. But speaking of Hasbro Pulse, the big more important thing, let's talk about this Tuesday. Oh yeah. So, if you've been living under a rock over the past 48 hours, Hasbro Pulse on all their different socials announced their next Transformer Tuesday fan stream. Celebrating the 40th anniversary of Transformers, they will be announcing the next Haslab item. January 30th, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 a.m. Pacific. And it has created quite the frenzy of people yelling at each other. I will say this, and you know what? Look, what I posted yesterday with the Primus thing, that was just me having fun. I mean, and in all honesty, it was the Hasbro guys having fun. Evan and BMac, they recorded that footage. They purposely put Primus there, you know, for whatever reason. Maybe we're not going to get Primus, and they're just messing with us. But if you asked me, like, what do you do for, like, people have their opinions of what they want to get done, but I mean, here, I even pulled this out of the archive. I mean, let me just turn the camera for a second. Like, I got Primus there and there in both modes, but then I have a sealed one here because when this bad boy originally came out back in the day, it was a big deal. It was a really big deal. It was the first time we were going to be getting. Well, our very first Primus figure was a lucky draw, and outside of me and a few other people, there's not many people that own that one. And I own it only because it was a Rodimus mold too. Maybe owning Primus was pretty cool too thing. But when this came out, this was a big deal. It was the first time we got a Transforming Planet Cybertron toy. Actually, first time there was a Cybertron anything toy. Unless you count like Unicron's, Hard Hero statue and the base that he was standing on, which was Planet Cybertron, a part of it. But this was the first time we got something like this, and this was a big deal. And in typical big toy fashion, it came out. This I believe was $59.99, Supreme class, and then it went on clearance for like $10. And when it went on clearance for $10, I bought a bunch of these, and I kept one sealed because I was like, hey, $10, keep it sealed, very nice. And then I sold a whole bunch of others afterwards. There was like a mountain of them at Toys R Us. But yeah, so the reason why I pretty much bring that up is because the conversations I was seeing in the fandom is, oh, it should be this, oh, it should be that. The thing is that you got to take, let's say Hasbro took, you're an opinionated fan, you have your opinions, and screw everyone else, because I was watching the discussions and it was nuts. Here I'm just sitting back and going, okay, let's see what they're saying here. Yes, I have. The just to go. It's a Kid Muscle Kinniku Man Nisei figure. The only reason why he's there is because whenever I have figures that have magnets on their feet, I like to put them on my microphone stand. So you got a Microman figure there because I have a whole bunch of Microman figures, but I really like that one, and that's from Microman Magna. And then you got a Kid Muscle there chilling. Side note there, side tangent. People want to address that. I always leave them on my mic stand. They can even hang upside down. I was tempted to do that with the Mega Man ones too, but whatever. It is what it is. But the point is that I was looking at a lot of discussions, and we were kind of seeing this thing where a lot of people were like, "Oh, it should be this. Oh, it should be that." And I always say, we'll take that individual, put him in Hasbro's boardroom, and go, look, before you say what you want it to be, let's remind you that, it's the 40th anniversary. Whatever we're going to do, let's say it's your idea. Whatever we're going to do, it's the 40th anniversary of the brand. So whatever we do, we're going to announce it this Tuesday. And then every single major convention in North America and in Asia, Japan, China, the Shanghai Expos, everything, Fanic, Wonder Festival, we're going to bring whatever that is as the face of the brand celebrating the 40th anniversary. And some people are like, oh, it should totally be like, this reissue of Unicron or something. It's been done. Why would you do it again during the 40th anniversary? Do it on an other year. Do it on the 41st anniversary. Do it on the 40th anniversary of the 86 movie. Like look, I get it. You missed out on Unicron. You want to get it again. But that wouldn't be a good representation of the brand during such a milestone event. Always those round numbers, the tens and the 15s, the fives, 45th anniversary, 50th anniversary. You want to kind of celebrate that. Kind of like Thrilling 30 we had all those years ago with Aaron Archer, like you want to kind of, you know, load it up with Starcom figures. Yeah, I should do that, eh? I don't have many left, unfortunately. Um, it's something where you have to think about what that's going to be. And look, I might be completely wrong, and the item that they'll pick is something that'll be totally off brand, totally not meant to represent the 40th anniversary. But if you're asking me, you got to pick something that's going to be that face of the brand. This is supposed to be a big hype thing. It's Transformers. It's 40 years. We're going to be at San Diego Comic-Con. Whatever that big item is going to be, it's going to be in a glass case. It's going to be the centerpiece of our Transformers Hasbro Pulse display. People are going to, the thousands and thousands of people at SDCC are going to walk by it and look at it. It's going to represent our brand. And if they make a mistake and they don't do that proper, that could hurt the brand. And considering that Hasbro's in a weird place right now financially, not the Transformer brand per se, but just the company as a whole and all the bad press right now, you need to kind of have that goodwill for the brand for the normies. Us hardcore fans, it's like, well, I already have a Primus figure. Oh, I can't afford another Unicron size $600 figure. I get that. I totally do. But there is also certain things that have to be done from a business standpoint to kind of make sense of things. And that's kind of why I'm like thinking like that, because there's, it shouldn't be a common character. I'm seeing a lot of people saying, because the mention of Omega, it's Omega Prime. And I think that would be a big waste for Hasbro to do an Optimus and Ultra Magnus from Robots in the Skies, aka Car Robots, Fire Convoy, and God Magnus. I think that would be a waste because that would be something that'd be better for retail. I think that would be better as a retail item. Leader class, Fire Convoy, trailer, everything. Leader class, God Magnus, Ultra Magnus, trailer, everything. Or even make the God Magnus, because he's a little larger technically, make him the commander class of 2025, It's something where, and then you could use that Ultra Magnus trademark again, because now we've peaked pretty much with the 86 Ultra Magnus. So I think that it would be a waste to do that. And considering we just got an Ultra Magnus through Studio Series, for them to do an Ultra Magnus again from a trademark standpoint would also be a waste. Like you have to think of it in 3D, guys, like a very inside baseball. And the whole mention of Omega in there, oh, this is going to be an Omega level thing and everything. Well, guys, I mean, where is it on the map here? Are we all forgetting the Omega lock? It was called the chip square in the Japanese version. That's what I knew it as. But the Omega lock. So if you want to if you want to really like read between the lines in the vernacular, I mean, that's all I'm saying. Planet Cybertron. So and it gets the Primus trademark back in the whims. There's that's just how I look at it. I mean, I'm for all I know I could be totally wrong. But if I'm right, then it'll make sense for everything I just said. You know, I don't know. That's just kind of like my long-winded take of that because there is a lot to take away from that. What do you guys think? Prince and Phalanx, hopefully, whatever Haslab will be, it won't be more than 300. Well, I mean, if Unicron was any indication, um, we probably won't see something like that ever again. And the reason for that, in my opinion, is Unicron was a $600 item Excuse me. Had a lot to eat today. I'll show you some images later. I actually took some photos for you guys. Unicron is a example of here's this $600 item untested. This is our first time we're doing a Haslab in a pre-inflation big V 2018 2019 world. And that item, if it was done again today, let's say we did Unicron again, would it be $600? Mm-mm. It would be like $800. So if they did something that was a Primus level thing like the Unicron, it would be an $800 item. And no one wants to pay that. You know how much that would be Canadian? $800 American. You know what that is Canadian? That's like $1,200. I'm not paying $1,200 for a transformer that is being made this year. You know, that is madness. You know what $1,200 gets me? Like I don't have like a perfect minty, black Zarek. I don't have a perfect minty, and I'm talking about the original. I don't have a perfect minty Dino King. With $1,200, I could buy myself an extra set of Star Saber and Victory Leo and have them combined next to the originals. You could buy almost anything that's ever existed of Transformers. Lucky draws. Lucky draws are like $500, 600 at most. So you'd be paying $1,200. I mean, my goodness, that'd be madness. So that's why, like, if Primus does happen, unfortunately, he will not scale nicely to Unicron. They'll probably pull it back and just make him. It'll be Primus. It'll turn into the planet. It'll be cool and everything, but he will be significantly smaller. And that will suck for people who want to have a good pairing. They bought the Unicron and now they want this one. But part of me also thinks if they do that, they make a smaller Primus, that then opens the doors to you could do a Unicron later in retail, and it could be a smaller Unicron that could work with that Primus. And the first Haslab Unicron will just be some unicorn crazy one off, never to be done again. Kind of like the USS Flag with G.I. Joe, which we've never had a playset like that since from Hasbro. So that's kind of, again, my little extra to that. Um, Let me see what else we got here. James Hopkins, the Omega Lock is what transforms Primus. Yes, well, that's why I showed it in the box there. Timmy K. Poindexter, X Squire the Third. I hope whatever it is they announced would not be Haslab and sell in retail for half price. Well, you're hoping for something that'll not happen. The sad truth with Haslab items is because of their limited nature, because of the market of people who buy them to then resell them, they're going to try to keep that price high. And as it stands right now, in terms of market value, every single Haslab item of the Transformer nature, I can't confirm this from the other brands, but all the Transformer ones have either stayed at its value or have gone up exponentially. So right now, Star Saber and Victory Leo, Victory Saber, you could get about 50% more than what its original value is. So at that 189 that was the original ask, let's say 200 for easy math, you could probably get 250 for it today. When you look at Unicron, that $600 is now like 1,000, 1,500. Once in a while, there's a sale. Um, BC Digital with the super chat, very first super chat. People are reading into the fire up those engines comments. What would the tiers even be for Omega Prime, Spy Changers, Omega Arsenal? Well, I mean, the first thing that would come to mind is I don't know what they called it in English. I think it was called the Sword of Primus, but you have what's called the God Fire Sword, which was like this giant sword that was very similar to, oh, guys, you guys can't even see it, but I mean, there is Brave Maximus, and he has this giant sword with him. That was the same thing that came with the old Fortress Maximus. It was the Master Sword. So it was kind of a re-sculpted version. I could see that being a bonus tier item. Like you said, Spy Changers, they could probably take some of those Micromasters and do some extensive retools into Spy Changer characters, which would be cool. I love the Spy Changers. And a lot of them have very similar transformations to Spy Changers, so you could probably really milk it. You have one mini bot that has, front end turns into a chest, and then you just got 50 Spy Changers, and that's like it's like 90% of the Micromasters anyways. So that could be done too. Um, Outside of that, Matrix accessories, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. Personally, me, I mean, I heard somewhere, again, I think it was Evan. Evan was saying, like, they don't want to use Optimus Prime as a HasLab item. And I can't confirm the reasoning outside of it would be a waste. Why would, if you do a HasLab item, you sell between 8,000 and 10,000 units. That's what happens. If you do a HasLab item, it sells between 8,000 and 10,000 units. You do it as a retail item, you sell like 100,000 units across the planet, minimum. Just America would probably be moving those 10,000 units minimum. Let alone every private, like big bad toy store, retail store, mom and pop store, comic book store, diamond distribution, let alone Canada and Toys R Us and their Walmart, let alone the United Kingdom, let alone Japan and what they do, or Australia. The fact that they would take an Optimus Prime and an Ultra Magnus and pigeonhole it into something that is not retail and move those units. And I know Evan would want to, if he loves his fire truck Optimus Primes, he would want that to be as straight, out there as much as possible. So I don't know. And then, and then there's weird things too, which people usually forget. They did a reissue not too long ago. I want to say like 5 years ago of Fire Convoy and God Magnus. And they were plagued with QC issues and problems. And this was a reissue in Japan where they did it more like anime accurate colors, but it was the same molds. And it wasn't received well. So if there's a little bit of muscle memory too, maybe I don't know. It's a tough one. There's too much that goes against it from a business standpoint for it to happen. But if it does happen, I think it would be a bad business decision. That's just my take. Alden Tolber with the $2 super chat. Imagine if the G1 Insecticons have had a combined mode. Well, then what would his name be? I mean, the closest thing we've had to an insect combiner would be Volinger. Let's get that art book. One moment. Actually, no, wouldn't it be in one of the manga books? One moment. Let me grab one of these. So we got this beauty here. Let's see if they have those pages in here, because I know everything was full color. If you want to see a insect combiner, where are you, Volinger? Really? They didn't color those pages? That's interesting. Oh no, maybe it's here. There we go. See? 3 insects, make one. So we kind of got an insect combiner outside of course, Tripredacus from the Beast Wars days. That was the closest to a G1 one, anyhow. Um, let's see where we at here. Alice Devil, I could see maybe a God Jinrai as a Haslab, but that's about it for an Optimus type character being Haslab. Look, I would dig it. I think it would be cool if they did one. The last time we got that Hasbro that Takara Legends one, the LGEX one that came with the little headmasters and stuff. That one was pretty cool. I got that from Mikey and Louie when they were unloading some stuff. But I mean, who knows? Who knows with that? That would be cool though. It would be cool. But again, I feel that those are wasted opportunities. That could be sold as a Power Master Optimus Prime and God Bomber in the Western market. And again, God Bomber is significantly smaller than Power Master Prime, so that's like a good Voyager item. Or look, if you want to bump it up, Leader and Commander. You know, Black Crow Vengeance #1. I ain't having my family buy anything that big or expensive. Personal reasons aside, I don't have my preferences for what quality Transformer toys I want for any occasion. Okay. T-Formers 2002. An Optimus Prime Godfire Haslab would lose them an opportunity to also do repaints. Well, that's the thing. You get the yellow repaint out of it. You then could do the black and white repaint of the Ultra Magnus. So right away there's that. Then you have the Black Fire Convoy one, which was the black and gold. And then the retools you could have fun with. It's to me it's wasted opportunity instead of pigeonholing it. Billy B, what's up, Billy B? I was sad that we didn't get the RID 2001 Ironhide out of the CW off-road mold. Well, that was during the John Warden era. John Warden, and no offense to John, I like what John did. John did things that the Aaron Archer era would have never dared. But John was a very G1 guy. If you look at like Combiner Wars, like it was just G1 with some G2 splash because of repaints. So, he loves his G1. And anything that we got that wasn't G1 during John's tenure was a miracle, if anything. It was more just opportunistic. The Optimus Primal, that Power of the Primes Optimus Primal that we got during John Warren's era was due to the fan vote. It wasn't because John wanted Optimus Primal. Um, and then, of course, like the only reason at the end of John's run did we get Beast Wars with Kingdom was because that was the transitionary period to the new crew with Evan and Mark, who are much more open minded to all the different brands. So, I mean, there was the rumors that Kingdom was actually supposed to be G1 versus G1. It was supposed to be 84, 85 characters against 86 characters from the future, and then that's what became Studio Series. I mean, it's never been confirmed, but yeah. Lord Eberron, I think the pricing is challenging because the Titan class figures are almost 200 now USD. So what would you make a Haslab more special, like $100 more of a project compared to the retail one? Well, it would be a Titan class, and then they'd top end it with a whole bunch of extra stuff that is all going to sit in the box with us. That's the big confliction that I have with Deathsaurus. I have Deathsaurus. Thank goodness I didn't have to pay for it. I mean, it's a great figure. Don't get me wrong, it's a great figure, but I look at it and I go, man, I'm never going to use this throne. It's going to sit in the box. All these extra accessories, I appreciate them, but they're just going to sit in the box. The little Micromasters were cool, but I still to this day feel that when you peel away a lot of it, it could have been like a commander class item. It really could have. Especially when you put it next to like Jetfire. And yeah, Jetfire is an older commander class. He's the first commander class. And the pricing structure is different now, and the plastic structure is different now. Um, it's just, it's something like I didn't need those accessories. It just takes space, you know? Like I'd rather just have Deathsaurus standing up proud next to Star Saber and that's it. If I use the throne, then I got to use that big wide base. And in case you didn't notice, space is a premium. You gotta make the best of what you can. And for someone like me, it's kind of like sometimes with certain masterpieces, they would do the same thing. Masterpiece Hound, they included that giant canopy that comes with him, which was something that was used for like 5 seconds in the cartoon when he went underwater, and they included that as an accessory. And I think that added like $15 to the final price of the masterpiece, which if it wasn't there, I feel me and 99% of people, maybe the only big Hound fan in the world probably appreciated it. But everyone else is just like, I could live without this. So it is what it is. I know people might disagree with me, but I mean it's just something where it's gonna be pricey however you cut it. And a lot of people, there's going to be two camps. There's the people that can afford it, and then there's going to be people who are going to buy it out of FOMO, even though they can't afford it. And I saw that so much with Deathsaurus. There were so many people that bought Deathsaurus because they got FOMO, and then once they got it, right away they put it for sale. They're like, I changed my mind. I don't want it. Give me my cost back. And it was on all the different message boards. And there was a lot of people that bought it without the intent of keeping it, but they were just so scared to miss out, and then they realized they couldn't afford it when it showed up. And that's the big problem, is that look, we have a very expensive hobby. We have a very, 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 very expensive hobby. We're lucky that we have a hobby that we could cash out. We're lucky that we have a hobby where if we need to make money, we could always sell this stuff, but it is an expensive hobby. I look at guys who are, sneaker collectors. I look at guys who are trading card Magic the Gathering collectors, and their hobbies, oddly enough, are way more affordable than ours. Sneaker collectors, like, they buy those shoes and they just sit on it. They don't even wear it, and it just goes up in value. But us, it's 50-50. Some stuff goes up in value, most stuff doesn't. So it's something where you could get some money back, but you won't get all your money back. Mark Morales with the $5 super chat. Primus and Unicron would have a small handful of molds over the years. We got a Titan sized. We got a Titan size for Unicron. Unicron's more than Titan size. It's its own thing. I feel inevitable that Primus might happen. Well, Unicron isn't a Titan class. And I look to the left as if like, I only have the planet mode here. I have the other one in the glass case, but it's something where he's Haslab scale. Like there's nothing that's even close to him. You put him next to our largest Titan class, which is, I don't know, I want to say Metroplex or Fort Max. They kind of, the little guns kind of edge him out with Metroplex, but Metroplex is probably the tallest, and it's still tiny in comparison to Unicron. So it's almost it doesn't even count it as a Titan class. But I feel we will get another Unicron. It'll be a retail item. I mean, if Rise of the Beasts is anything, it kind of gives that open doorway if they want to make a little figure or a little statue or something, and then that buys them. Look, they bought time with Unicron by Super 7 making that Unicron figure. That Unicron reaction, that bought them another 4 years. Like, so we might see some of those, unfortunately. I always bring up the best example is the tiny Titan Unicron that they did back in 2013, 2000. No, it was later than that. 2015 they did it. They did a little tiny Titan Unicron, little non-transforming Unicron PVC, and that bought Hasbro 4 years of having to do a Unicron again for a trademark. So it's a crazy. It's a crazy, but we will see. Again, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I'm just giving my educated 2 cents, and then we'll see what happens between what Mark and BMAC teased us, between what I feel would be a wise move. If I was kind of holding the steering wheel, I would do something that's smaller and affordable, not a 600. It wouldn't even be able to be 600, but something that it can't parallel what we got before with Unicron in 2019. So it'll be a smaller one. And then because it's a smaller one, people can engage with that one and buy it because it will be more affordable. And then you do another Unicron and it's a retail one. And then that could be done in like 2026 to celebrate the 86 movie on an anniversary. And then people could pick up that one. There's a lot of different ways you could tackle it. Where are we at here? Ashna, this Haslab is 99% a pass. I'm space limited. Well, that's another thing too for a lot of people is that, collecting big items like that is very space prohibitive. It's very difficult. Look, take it from me. As someone that has like, 85% of every Transformer toy ever made on this globe, I have no space. I have no space. I literally am sorting all the time. People go like, oh, like everything's, like mushed together and you're deep shelving. Yeah, because you have to. You have to. It's to be able to fit every single figure of all kinds of stuff. Like there's like every Energon, every, Armada, every Cybertron. It's not easy to do that. I just screwed up the camera. There we go. It's not easy to fill that all in. And this whole room is dedicated only to Transformers. And even then, it's very difficult to do. And this line keeps growing and growing and growing that you have to almost be picky with certain things. Do I need to buy 12 different versions of Earthspark Optimus Prime? No, I just get the best version of that character, the deluxe class, and then I ignore the one steps, the flip changers, the this and that, the spin changers, although I want the little human figures, but you know what I mean. Uh Alice Devil, if we get a Titan Unicron, I'm guessing it'll be based on Armada. That's a good way out. Kind of like how when they did a Metroplex, they're like, let's do it on this based on the Cybertron one, just to do something different. And I dig it. I think it'd be cool. I like that Unicron, and it would be a better update than what we had before. The old one is starting to show its age. It was what it was back then, and it was an epic item. But to revisit that old Aaron Archer design and figure, and to revisit it again and have it be done again, I think people would appreciate it. And then, of course, then you could do Energon colors, and then you could then resculpt it, and then do a G1 version, which is then you go full circle of what that original one did. Uh, and you could do the green colors. You could do the clear green Minicon one, the lucky draw. Paul with the $5 super chat. Would Hasbro release prior lines like Creo, Tiny Titans, I guess Q Transformers to save trademarks? Q Transformers not though, because that's Japanese and Japan doesn't have the same trademark rules as America. But yeah, Creo practically existed for trademarks. The year before we got Combiner Wars, look what Creo did. They did the Creo combiner line. Every single combiner under the sun got Creo combiners. We got all the mainstays. We even got the more off the wall ones like the Piranicons, and then we got some weird ones. Like everyone's there. Predaking was there. Like you got the main ones, the Superions, the Bruticus's, the Defensors, the Devastators, the I know I'm forgetting one here. Bruticus, the Menasor. Then you got the Predakings. You got Abominus. You got the Piranicons. Like and each individual member too also got a trademark. So they did that with Creo. Tiny Titans was the same thing. Hey, we could do these little PVC figures that have like they're one molded piece of plastic with like 3 paint apps. Let me grab it right now. Ugh. You're making me get up. Ugh. I'll grab 2 examples, you know? And then like they go, okay, well here, now we don't have to make a Unicron now. Look, we didn't even paint half this figure. One molded piece of plastic, 3 different paint hits on the front, a little bit of silver, a little bit of purple, red for the eyes. Boom, 4 years. Oh, hey, team, we got to do a Cheetor. Oh, here you go. Have a Beast Machines Cheetor. No paint, no paint on the back. 2 paint hits on this one. We'll give it a little bit of green and a little bit of red for the eyes, and that's it. Tiny Titans existed for that. Tiny Turbo Changers, that's another one. A lot of those ones too. Oh, Aaron's here. What's up, Aaron? Aaron had a fantastic live stream yesterday. Go check it out. It was really good. Talking about Batman too, even. Nice to see some Batman chat in there. But yeah, it's something where we'll see what happens. But there clearly is a lot of business ways to go about it. And I really hope they do that because that would be the smart move. And the smart move is needed right now more than ever. More than ever, in my opinion. While we do that, let me do some sponsor stuff and then we'll pull out some more stuff to talk about today. Might as well get that out of the way while we have it. We're already an hour into the live stream. Again, support the podcast, super chats like Kevin PH just did. Kevin, I'll answer your question in a moment. Before we do our sponsors, Kevin PH with the $5 super chat. Hi, Proto. I asked this before, but do you think Haslab Raiden can happen in the future? I don't think it would make sense. Haslab is an item that exists both in America and in Japan. Why would Japan be invested and care about a Haslab item after they just came off of a masterpiece? That practically is a Haslab level item. Think about Raiden. The masterpiece, all of it together. It's over, what was it, 125 to 150 per unit. There's 6 of them. So you're talking almost $1,000 right there after taxes. And then we're not talking shipping, just taxes. So I don't think that would happen anytime soon. And then the West Coast side of it with trains and everything. Again, go check out Aaron Archer's live segment. He talked about trains and why those don't happen in Transformers. He actually talks about JRX and the bullet trains and everything and the reasoning and logic. T-Formers 2002 says bot shots also. Yeah, bot shots was another great example of saving trademarks. That's how they saved Ultra Magnus. They didn't use an Ultra Magnus trademark for 4 years, and then they threw it on a bot shot, and literally it was an Optimus Prime bot shot. If you look at the Ultra Magnus bot shot, and you'll be like, that looks like Optimus. It's even painted like Optimus. They just changed it a little bit, and they said, oh, it's Ultra Magnus, and they're like, okay, sure. They could have just called it Optimus. But it is what it is. So let's get into a sponsorship and then we'll answer some more questions from the beautiful people here in the chat today. So let's start, of course, with Symbiote Studios. I'm actually wearing the Catnip Bravo Flesh Eater shirt with the shark there. Catnip Bravo's chilling with Slag over there. So Symbiote Studios, our beloved sponsor of the podcast, the eternal sponsor, as I like to call it. I'm going to try to come down to San Diego Comic-Con this year and hang out with them. We'll be at the booth doing some great networking and stuff. But Symbiote Studios, the plush, and the t-shirts of Transformers official. None of that bootleg stuff. Check it out, yo. These are some that are available right now on the store. More will be updated and back in stock in the future. like the new Ultra Magnus that will be coming out very soon. Stay tuned for that one if you want some delicious Ultra Magnus goodness. Also takes care of a trademark. Now we're all learning together. And of course, the winter kit, no trademark there. Just if it's cold right now. That's why Proto Man is wearing this, because it's cold. The heating is running, and you could probably even hear my furnace in the background. It is like, what is it? What is it right now? Let's look it up right now. How much am I suffering right now in this terrible Canadian weather? As a Canuckle head, as they would be called. Actually, I'm complaining for no reason because it's +1 right now. But still, +1 is still cold. Anyways, it's probably raining right now, maybe. But the point is that it's cool, you know. So you could get some nice winter wonder wardrobe kit for your plushes too. Get them all dressed up, take your photos, tag Symbiote Studios, let them know that you love what they do, and that Proto Man sent you to do it, because that's how it is. And here's all the others. Again, some are sold out, but some others will be restocked and available. Some of them are sold out permanently, like that Unicron. I warned you guys. Hey man, when that Unicron came out, man, I warned you guys, get it now, because when it's gone, it's gone. That's just how it is. Just like a certain Haslab Unicron when it was gone, just like this one too. And same thing with the Primal, the Optimus Primal, the movie one. When that movie Primal is gone, he's sticking his head out over there next to Shockwave. When that one's gone, that's gone. That's a limited run. So get those while you can. And yeah, of course, all the others too, all the other Hasbro brands. Get those pins. They're on sale right now. When those are gone, they're gone. A lot of great stuff, though. A lot of great stuff. Again, thank you, Symbiote Studios, for being an amazing sponsor of it all. And of course, go check out Aaron Archer. We did our segment, The Toy Armada, with Aaron Archer about Tidal Wave. Go check it out, that channel. Go throw it in your search algorithm on YouTube. Type The Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. Go subscribe to that channel. Go check out those segments. Me and Aaron talk about the robots in the skies and then some. He did a very good live stream yesterday. Go check that out, to a good hour and a half of goodness. His lighting is better than mine. I swear, I look at Aaron's videos and I'm like, he has that nice purple lighting in the background, everything. I just got toy room lighting, and this terrible lighting here, because this is museum lighting that I use for the G1 stuff, and I'm just trying to fake it till you make it. That's what they always say. But yeah, go check it out, The Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. Good stuff there. And of course, if you want some more Aaron goodness, his latest book, The Art of Transforming Robots, Volume 2, available on archermonster.com/shop. A delicious full color book. And on that cover there, you want to watch Aaron open up the Core Class Energon Megatron, the latest one. He actually does that on his video too, so you could get the opinion of a man who sculpted the original, messing with the new one. Good stuff. And of course, got to get these. These are the latest editions of the Posca paintings on the original instructions. Also on archermonster.com/shop. We got some Lio Convoy action. Energon. I was going to say Omega Prime. Omega Supreme. And then the later repaint Omega Sentinel. That Sharkticon. Why did no one buy that Sharkticon yet? Sharkticon is so hype. So hype. I literally put him front and center. There he is. I put him front and center of my Energon display because I love that mold so much. Such a great one. So check that out too. archermonster.com/shop. And go check out, everything Hasbro Pulse does, because they're just good people to me. Mark Morales with the $2 super chat. Funny idea. Titan class Cybertron King Starscream. That one I could see, but again, if they do that, don't make it a HasLab, just make it a Titan class Starscream. And then the question is, are they going to milk it to do a Titan class Skywarp, a Titan class Thundercracker? Although Titan class Thundercracker wouldn't work because Thundercracker had his own unique mold. But I mean, I could see that. I mean, the only unfortunate thing is that original King Starscream, that Supreme Scale one, did not sell well at all. It went on mad clearance. That was out of the gate wave one item. Like Cybertron right out of the gate had that Starscream. And oh man, was it not received well from the secondary market. And I think it was BotCon 2008. There's probably a photo out there floating around. BotCon 2008, they had a kids playpen where kids could like play with toys and stuff. And it was just filled with Cybertron Starscreams that were in there. I hope no one stole one and saved money, but it was crazy. It was crazy, but I could see that. That's definitely I'm telling you, Mark, that's like a short list item. Like if Hasbro had a short list of, hey, here's some ideas that we could do for Titans, I'm pretty sure it's on there. It probably isn't on the front of the list, but it's definitely on there as a consideration because it's something you can do. It's something that makes sense. Like when you look at Tidal Wave being a Titan class, you go, this makes sense. It makes sense to do this. And it's the same thing. Makes sense to do that. Same thing with doing like Omega Sentinel or some of those others. David Cabal, love the authenticity, Proto Man. That's why we keep coming back. Well, thank you, David. You're a good guy too. Thank you. I just look, I just tell it like it is. I just tell it like it is. Look, I'll criticize Hasbro when I think that there's something wrong, and I'll say when they do something cool too. It's the balance of that. It's just I think that when you criticize them, the smart minds will not take it as a negative and take it personally in the company. They'll be like, okay, maybe there is something we could do to improve. It's not even a criticism, it's an opinion, and that opinion could be, differ on different individuals, if they worked on that product and they feel tied to it and stuff. But I mean, look, Aaron's, designed a whole bunch of Transformer toys that he's critical on himself. So it's something where if you're open-minded to it, you could grow, and I'm glad that I'm able to be critical with Hasbro and still have a very good relationship with them. So they know that it's not personal. They know. But yeah, I mean, hey, look, they get away with this with no paint. But again, I know the reasons for it. Everything has its logic. For every for every tiny Titan, then you give me something amazing like this, and I'm all over it. I mean, maybe if it had no yellow parts here, but yeah. Aside from that, give me some orange over there, and we're in business. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Uh, but it was a busy day today for me. Um, there was a lot of stuff that was popping off. There was a huge sale that was happening in the east end of Montreal. I wanted to go to it, but let's just say there was some car trouble that had to be taken care of. Long story short, significant other uh, got into a fender bender, so we had to send the car to get the insurance does all the stupidity with changing bumpers, which means it's going to take way longer than it needs to. They gave her a courtesy car. That courtesy car was a BMW. And right away, I rolled my eyes like, oh, great, rear wheel drive BMW, low profile in Montreal winter. What's the worst that could happen? 4 days into her using the BMW, the tires got destroyed. So you had to get a rental for the rental. It was a busy day. Needless to say, Protoman didn't get to go to that cool collection sale in the East End. Such is life. Billy B, Patreon listener, question Protoman's buyer's guide to purchasing Transformers, how to buy on eBay. You know what? The problem with that is that changes all the time. I did a panel at TFCon in 2000. Geez, what year was that? I think I did in 2016. And it was like a buyer's guide panel to finding rare and unique items in Transformers. And if I went back today and watched that panel, most of what I said in that panel doesn't apply anymore. Things change all the time, and eBay especially. eBay. The problem with eBay now is fees have gone up a lot ever since they phased out PayPal. There's been a lot of difficulty. A lot of people are scared to buy now too because apparently, and I didn't even know this was a thing. Apparently, you bid and then you have to give the money right away, and that scares people off. Which to me, it's stupid. I mean, if you're bidding, you're gonna pay for it, right? But apparently, here's the thing: people buy on eBay and then don't pay for the items, and they don't get negative feedback, which I think is ludicrous. But eBay's in a weird place right now. Ooh, there's a lot of super chats coming in. Okay, I got to take care of those. But yeah, Billy, I mean, I'll think of something, but it's very hard to do those buyer guides because things constantly change. I mean, when I did that 2016 segment, Facebook Marketplace didn't even exist. And now Facebook Marketplace is almost more powerful than eBay. It's crazy. Like you'll sometimes find better deals and better stuff locally or sometimes even the next town over through Facebook Marketplace, or you'll find people on Facebook Marketplace that are willing to ship. So it's almost like a form of eBay too, you know? The only negative of Facebook Marketplace is there's no feedback system. So, and and you usually, if you're sending money, sometimes you might be sending an e-transfer. That could be a little risque, So I'll think about it. I'll think about it. There's something that could be done there, but the problem is I hate to do stuff like that that's definitive and then it doesn't age well, Joseph Ritter with the $5 super chat. If Hasbro went under, would you like to buy the company? Jax, Mattel, Bandai, Proto Incorporated. Um, if Hasbro went under, I would only want to buy some of their IPs. I'm reminded of when Interplay was a video game company. They owned Earthworm Jim, they owned Clay Fighter, they owned a lot of different IPs. And when they went bankrupt, instead of selling the company as a whole, they actually pieced out the IPs. And I failed at it, but I tried to buy the Clay Fighter IP. Let's just say me and a few IDW guys were kind of like, maybe we could do something with this. So if Hasbro went bankrupt, I'd want them to piece out the IPs, and then I'd try to get Transformers because I don't need Rom the Space Knight. I don't need, and I love Rom the Space Knight, but I don't think there's anything you do with it. Even G.I. Joe, I love G.I. Joe, but my God, that's such a hard IP to make money from. I would have to just license it out to people that would be stupid enough to take it. No offense, Super 7, but I mean, that's how they keep the GI Joe pays for itself by getting other people to make GI Joe stuff, pretty much, you know. But yeah, I'd like to buy it, but I would unfortunately what people might not like is I'd run it like a business. I would do stuff that would make money in the mainstream way. And yeah, there would be, sublines on the side that would cater to the hardcore audience. I kind of look at it like, look, movie 2007 to 2010 era. The movie, the first movie was good, second movie wasn't that great, but it catered to a mainstream audience. And then the success of those movies, fed into the classics and Universe 2.0 and Generations, hardcore fan stuff on the side. So you could find a good balance with all of that. The mainstream stuff makes money, and then you could take that mainstream stuff and kind of siphon it to more compartmentalized hardcore stuff on the side for fans. Thank you for the super chat, Joseph. David Cabal with the YouTube member question. Is there a good documentary about Transformers? Nothing that I could say in all honesty. The Toys That Made Us was it is what it is. I don't want to throw shade at the Toys That Made Us. They have a very, how do I put it? If you don't know that stuff is missing, then you don't know that stuff is missing and you could enjoy it. When I watched the Toys That Made Us, I watched all the episodes, even stuff that I didn't care about. When they did the Barbie one, when they did the My Little Pony one, two brands I'm not too familiar with. So when I watch them, I go, okay, I learned something, but I don't know what's missing. When I watch the wrestling one, when I watch the He-Man one, when I watch the Transformer ones, I know tons of stuff is missing. When I watch the Power Ranger one, and because I know that stuff is missing, I feel that parts of those stories are missing, but they also have a limited amount of time that they have to do these episodes. They can't be like 4-hour, episodes. There's no really good documentary. And it's for a 40-year-old brand, it's very hard to do that. If you could do a great documentary just talking about Generation 1, you know, 84 to like, let's say 91, 92, if you want to stretch it. But not even stuff on YouTube. Even the stuff on YouTube, the stuff on YouTube is serviceable, but it's more just parroting a Wikipedia link, a Wikipedia entry. So it's nothing that I could really say from a high production stand. Maybe it's just because I have a different perspective, I guess is the best way to put it. I don't know. I hate to say it. Black Crow Vengeance #1. Does anyone have problems with Gamer Edition Studio Series toys? I got Megatron last Christmas, and they're nothing but buyer's remorse for the toy and their upgrade kits. Well, if you have buyer's remorse for upgrade kits, that's third party, so it's kind of a different thing. Archer Monster, this is a funny conversation. G.I. Joe would cost $500 million or more. Well, I'm pretty sure with the way Hasbro is right now, they would want $500 million. Of course, look, any of those IPs are worth a ton of money. But you know what happens when companies go bankrupt? What always happens is always the guys that end up acquiring those pieces, they always are on the inside and they get a really good deal. I mean, think about what Disney paid for Star Wars. They paid nothing compared to what they made in like 1 year. Think about what Disney made with Marvel. They paid nothing compared to what they would have made in 1 year from it, which they did. They probably made all their money back from both of those just in the first year alone. And then everything's profit, let alone even getting into the licensing and everything else, just movies, just movie ticket sales, you know? And yeah, there's a percentage that's taken away from that, but still, so G.I. Joe is a tough one. It's a tough one. It's something that I'm pretty sure Hasbro makes more money from it licensing it out more than anything. I think that's their big secret more than anything is like, different companies just wanting to, oh, we want to do the GI Joe comics, we want to do the GI Joe Super 7 stuff, we want to do GI Joe merchandising, and Funko wants to do GI Joes, and and by GI Joes I mean GI Joe Funko Pops or buttons or pins, and then, oh, we want to do GI Joe posters and stuff, and that's like Trends is a company. If you go to Walmart and you see like that poster rack, it's like a thing where you can just kind of go through posters. Trends is the company that usually does the licenses for posters. And so they'll do like Transformers and Angry Birds and Among Us and everything. So, like, all these little micro companies that will license out those IPs so they can make their money in the bigger pie when they give a little piece of the pie. You know, that's what you would do with G.I. Joe. But what would you do with G.I. Joe internally? I don't know. It's a tough one. Uh, Horned Owl played our monthly Transformers RPG session last Saturday. Players got lost navigating the dense jungle of Biosphera. I've been wondering, in any of the continuities, do Cybertronians have built-in compasses? They have their own guidance systems. In Beast Wars, you would have someone like Cheetor would look at his wrist thing and he'd, know where he's going and stuff. So, I mean, I've seen that in Beast Wars. I can't really I mean, there probably is a micro instance that I'm forgetting, but guidance systems is the word that always comes up. By guidance systems, which kind of like triangulates them. I mean, look, if compasses work with polar poles, and that's magnetic, and electronics use magnetics all the time, any robotic organism would be able to have some kind of, GPS system in it that would do the same thing. Billy B, I would love a 1x60 scale GI Joe vehicles. Oof, they would be very expensive though. Got to keep them in a cheap plastic too. They couldn't be die cast. Kevin PH with the $5 super chat. Could you explain here on the podcast how Transformer funding works? Funding. I don't think many people understand how it works, me included. What do you mean by funding though? Do you mean like an idea and then how it's turned into an action figure? Or are you talking about how the crowdfunding of the Haslabs work? You might have to specify what you mean by funding because there's different avenues of what you could mean by that word. Because Hasbro ain't funding nothing. When they make Transformers, they own the IP. So they do it in house. They don't need to pay anybody to do Transformers because they own Transformers, as opposed to partner stuff, which is like the GI Joe, not GI Joe, the Marvel or Star Wars brand, where they have to pay Disney to make those characters. So I think Kevin, just ask again. You don't have to do a super chat, but just if you could specify better what you mean by funding, so I could answer that better for you. How much time we got left? Oh my God, we're already 45 minutes left. Jeez. Busy day. Busy day. And tomorrow's going to be even more busier day. But Monday, I'm buying a trading card collection that I'm going to get to go through. So that's going to be worth it. So that'll be fun. Anyone who, oh, by the way, anyone who saw, we did a secret live stream during the week. Anyone who got to pop in on that, we just did a little quick thing. I bought a huge trading card collection, bought a whole bunch of trading cards, and essentially was sorting all the cards in my kitchen. And then I was like, man, like I spent like 3 hours doing this. And then after doing that for 3 hours, I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to turn on the webcam and people could join me while I sort the trading cards. And then I just answered a couple of questions. We hung out for like a good, I don't know, good like 2 hours actually. We probably went. So anyone who got to see that live stream this week, again, sorry that it just kind of pops up and disappears. Those streams, I don't keep them in the archive because they're like surprise streams. Um, Usually, if you're not there to see them, it is what it is, unfortunately. They're a little more uncensored. So if I don't keep those streams, I won't get flagged on YouTube. I just kind of delete them afterwards. But I appreciate all the love and support that comes from those streams when I do them. Where are we at here? Where are we at? Black Crow Vengeance. Hold on a second. I don't want to miss any questions here. Black Crow Vengeance is they're going to watch the Transformer Tuesday stream because I am. Well, everyone's going to watch it. I mean, I don't think anyone's going to miss that. That's for sure. Kevin PH, you didn't answer back yet. Okay, I'll wait for you, Kevin. Ashnud, this summer we're going to go through and sell our Magic the Gathering collection. Do you have any older stuff? I'm always looking. I'm not looking for like rare Power 9 stuff. I'm looking more just I want to complete my sets. Some of my older sets. I'm always looking to buy. I'm always like, 93 to like 2001. That's kind of my bubble. And if you have newer stuff, I'm just kind of looking at the Brothers War right now, kind of looking for specific stuff. If you have any of that, Ashnode, hit me up. Always, not Ashnode. Yeah, Ashnode, hit me up. And it's funny because Ashnode is the name of a character in Magic the Gathering. It's one of the dark witches of the desert. Timmy K. Point Extra Proto with the kitchen backsplash. Yeah, so if you saw my live stream that I did on what day was that, guys? Was that Tuesday? I don't remember what day it was. Everything's a blur. Um, I did it. Well, it wasn't. You could see my kitchen in the background. I was doing it in my dining area, and you could see my breakfast nook, and then you saw my kitchen in the background. You saw how boring the rest of my house is. it's, these are the cool rooms, but the rest of my house just looks like a house. I have a nice fridge though; it has a lot of cool geek stuff on it. But yeah, so I apologize for anyone who wasn't able to catch it. It was kind of a last second thing. I just kind of turned on the camera. We will do more stuff like that in the future. I saw people really liked it. They thought it was fun. I was surprised how many people turned out for it because we did it like in the middle of a day. And, it also caters to people who are not able to be here live on a Saturday night if they're available during the day, on a Thursday. We'll see. We'll see. That's always the evolution of that. Okay, Kevin PH. I meant to say like how much funding each Transformer toy gets. I've seen people use that Hasbro being multi-million dollar companies should make better quality toys. Way too loaded to say that they're a multi-million dollar company to make better quality toys. Yeah, but you have to factor in one thing. All the employees, and yeah, we could get into the whole Proto, didn't they just fire a bunch of people? Yeah, they did. There's a whole story with that, but it's something where there's a lot of people in the company. People got to get paid. It's and yeah, when you get into the semantics of it, and you got corporate investors, and they gotta always show a profit, and so there's that factors in. That is a onion that I would have to explain every layer as I peel it off. And as I keep peeling, you're going to keep crying because you're not going to like the answers you're going to hear. But it's a lot of corporate America, a lot of consumerism, a lot of just straight up like the industrial complex of how this all works. And at the end of the day, you just gotta kind of like move through it all. But long story short, and it's almost impossible to explain it to you. You could take like a singular thing, like let's say Transformers Armada, and Aaron could sit down and go, "All right, we plan this, and then we plan these characters, and then there's the cost structure. There's the A price, the B price, the C price, and how we do that." And then you could kind of just focus on that. But the answer isn't going to make you happy. Oh, we could have put 12 paint apps, but we didn't. You know. It's just how it is, unfortunately. It's like, oh, the Primus is too far away. But it's like, you look at the back of, a lot of times I always tell people, look at the back of the packaging of old Unicron trilogy stuff. And you always see like 3 or 4 paint apps that are on the final product. It just happens. They have an idea, oh, it's going to look like this. And then the final product isn't like that. Because if they remove those paint apps, it works with the budget better. You know? Unfortunate, but that's how it is. T-Formers 2002 Tuesday, we also got to see your cat Minus, and she eventually got her food. Yes, she did. She was chilling in the background. Minus does not like to come in the basement unless she needs to take a crap. She goes outside or she goes in her litter box that's next door if it's too cold. So that's the only time we in the room that we don't see next door is like the boiler room, and we put the cat litter in there for when she needs it. So Minus rarely comes downstairs. Very rare. Not to mention, I think the only reason why she even came during the live stream was because I was home alone. And if I'm home alone and I'm talking, the cat's logic is, who are you talking to? And then they come to look because, you know, significant others upstairs going to hang out with the cat, keeps her company. Ashna, that's where my nickname is from. Ah, there you go. I used to do a torture rack, torture rack deck. Yeah, that's where it's at, yo. Was that 4 cards or more in your hand, or 4 cards or less? One or the other. Or that's cursed rack. That's the other one. Both of them are very good artifacts. And I just lost the whole audience. Airy Nut, $5 super chat. What can I expect from mainline reveals for Tuesday? I think that we're probably going to get we're going to get Haslab reveal, and let me just pull up that list here, and the Studio Series teaser. Where's the list? Where's that list? Here we go, and maybe a Studio Series teaser from BMAC of this, because it said that BMAC and Evan are going to be hosting the live stream. So probably BMAC's going to be teasing this stuff. That's what I'm assuming. But I think that it's going to be more about the Haslab. Look, they got it. They give us kind of like one live stream a month. And so the way I see it is, this will be the January big Haslab reveal. February we'll get like, oh, here's what's happening with Studio Series. And then March will be like, here's happening with Legacy for April. That's the way I could kind of see them balancing it, you know? What else did you say here, Ari? What do you see the hope for the future? You see in future, what you hope to see in a future weapon pack? Oh man, weapon packs, Dinobot swords for the leader classes. We'll start with that. That's the first one. If Swoop doesn't come with them, uh, I'd like obscure stuff. Think about like weird one-off items that kind of existed in G1 or Beast Wars. Like, the Shadow Panther masterpiece comes with that armband that Cheetor had in the episode Equal Measures, but we never got that armband for, like, let's say our deluxe class one. That'd be cool if we have that. Little silly items would be cool to have. Little one-off, little slug, one molded piece of plastic, maybe one paint app on it. I doubt it, but probably just molded in plastic. Little small items. All those weapon packs seem to always have one little micro figure. I'm always down for more of those if they could pull them off. Be pretty cool. More Beast Wars repaints when? What are we missing? What are we missing? We're missing a few of them at least. Where's my Universe 1.0 Rasta Primal? You know, my brown red, green, and yellow Optimus Primal. I'm surprised we didn't get that repaint. I love that toy. Love that toy. That thing. Give it an Autobot logo on it to really represent the Universe 1.0 thing. That'd be really cool. What's up, Mikey and Louie? Louie. Kevin PH, what if Hasbro owned the Thomas and Friends IP? Well, Mattel paid very big money to the estate of Thomas the Tank Engine and Britt Atcroft, I think is the woman that they bought it from the original Avery estate. Mattel paid big money to have that because it's big money for them. I doubt Mattel will get rid of it anytime soon. It's probably one of their biggest cash cows for them for the preschool market. With what is it? Engines Are Go is the new Thomas one. Disliked by the hardcore fans, but liked by children. And at the end of the day, isn't that what really matters? But if Hasbro had the IP, they probably still wouldn't do anything with Transformers. I think they want to keep those train out of the Transformer basket. Again, go see Aaron's segment that he did yesterday talking about trains and other stuff. Where we at? Sorry, we're late. Better late than never. There's an old saying: always be late to a party. That's the best time to be late. Mikey and Louie. Universe Silverbolt. Yeah. Well, we'll get a Universe Silverbolt probably from that Silverbolt for sure. The nice purple colors. That's another really good one. All my Universe stuff's over here. You guys can barely see it. Universe 1.0. It all could be fit into there. And I screwed up the camera again. Got to do something about that. James Hopskin. Oh wait, hold on. JR Mina said Cryotech. Hey JR, how you doing? Yeah, Cryotech. Cryotech's a given. Cryotech is one I would buy. I love Cryotech. Such a beautiful looking toy. J.R. Hopkins would like to see a mini-con pack in some point. Well, those for sure will happen. They've BMAC already teased it. There's going to be mini cons at some point. We'll see. We got a $5 super chat from VCXZ. You mentioned Brothers War. What did you think of the Transformer cards in Magic? Ultra Magnus looks like a cool commander. The rest are to me. So, in turn, let's break this down. In terms of the Transformer cards, I think they were really cool. I really liked. I have a. No, I'm not going to mess with. I have all my Transformer cards in the binders here. I'll save it for another time. I really like what they did. I thought that the color pairing for some of the Autobots and Decepticons were a little off, but overall they were pretty fun. For Commanders, I actually was trying two. I was trying Shattered Glass Bumblebee, or Goldbug in this case, which is a white-blue, which is really fun to do with humans. You could do a human deck where he kind of acts like a lord, if you will. Again, I'm losing people here with Magic Talk. And then a Shattered Glass Cyclonus deck, because it's the closest thing I have to a Hot Rod card, outside of obviously the play cards that have like the Matrix and everything. So I have like a Hot Rod, I have a Cyclonus deck I'm trying to work on. Command towers that are just Planet Cybertron. There's a lot of really cool stuff that you could buy. I dig them. My only complaint was they made the Transformer lands secret layers, and if anyone who knows Magic, you want to have a lot of those for your deck, but it's a secret layer, so you're paying $30 for 5 cards when you want to have a whole bunch of these. That wasn't cool. I would have liked it if I could have I would have I don't like secret layers where lands are just 5 of them when it should be like a multi-pack. And that's just, again, I don't want to get into Hasbro and how if you're a Magic the Gathering fan, you're getting ripped off by Hasbro, but that's a whole other different conversation. It's insane how expensive it is. But yeah, I like them. I like them a lot. I like that it was part of Brothers War because Brothers War is one of my favorite parts of Magic the Gathering during Antiquities with Urza and Mishra. Dig it, dig it, dig it. Great book. Go out and read that book. The Brothers War, a fantastic book from Wizards of the Coast back in 2000, 2001. They put it out. Good piece of fiction. You could read it online for free. It's out there somewhere in some archive. Great stuff. Thank you for the super chat. I always like talking some Magic the Gathering. Um, Actually, where's my? Oh, did I bring it upstairs? I wanted to show you guys what. Yeah, I brought it upstairs. Darn. I was looking at some trading card stuff. I had one of my books down. I brought it upstairs. That sucks. I had some cool trading card book stuff from the '90s. I would have loved to show it to you guys. I'll save it for next week if I remember. T-Formers 2002. Speaking of primal repaints, got my Kingdom burning today. Here's hoping we'll eventually get a modern Flash convoy, Lio convoy. Oh, that's gonna happen for sure. We got the regular, we got the black repaint. They'll do a Galva Lio convoy. They'll do the Flash Lio convoy with the yellow. They'll do it, even if it's like a generation selects or in a multi pack. A multi pack is more doable because you could have 2 really solid ideas and then have the Flash Lio convoy, which would be a hard sell on its own. But in a multi pack, it's like a given, you know? It's something like what was that multi pack? Like the Army Builder multi pack. That Seeker Jet, which is just like an off colored Thundercracker at the end of the day, on its own would have been a hard sell. But if you put it in a multi pack with some more desirable ideas, then it's something that's easier to kind of bake in. Uh, Clark Clint Gaming. I don't like what they're doing with Modern Thomas. A lot of the hardcore fans are not liking it, but it's also a preschooler show, so I can't hate on it too much. Just go back and watch the old Ringo Starr episodes, and then you'll get some good stuff. Patrick Brown, what's up, Proto? I'm very eager to hear for the reveal on Tuesday. There is not many items I wouldn't buy. Well, we'll see. we'll see what's happening Tuesday. Not much we could really say right now. I kind of covered it on the top, but Bigum, hope we get a new Razor Claw again. We have that Tiger Hawk. Razor Claw would be the obvious repaints. There's some that are just like so obvious. That whole Universe 1.0 line just like gave birth to all the repaints. Clark Clint Gaming one more time. I just don't understand how model trains as an industry make billions of dollars a year as a hobby, but transforming robots turn into trains don't do well. Because the model train hobby is unfortunately populated, and I could speak for this as a fact 100% because I go to the Model Train Expo in Montreal with my father. We used to go to it for years. Now I go with it with my wife, and it's all old dudes. And when I mean old dudes, I'm not talking a 40-year-old like me. I'm talking like 60, 70, 80. It's old guys. They have their pensions, they have their retirement checks. They're throwing that money at it. It's the problem is preschoolers like trains, really old guys like trains. In between the 15 to the 45s, not so much. Yeah, a weird guy like me likes Thomas the Tank Engine and grew up with a train set and stuff, but there's not enough weird guys like me to make it, a business. The what do you call it? The Bachmann series of Thomas trains, which are like the masterpieces of Thomas trains, all old, like bought by guys who are like 45 or older, in their 50s. It's just a reality. I go to those shows. There's a great one off the highway here in Montreal that they do every year. Fantastic. And everyone is way older than me. Way older than me. Um, where am I at here? Where am I at? Oh, we got a gold super chat from MMA Panda. How you doing, MMA Panda? Gold super chat. MMA Panda. Maybe the Transformers Haslab can be a G.I. Joe Transformers crossover. Well, they're kind of already doing that. Could give them a reason to make a Triptychon Cobra base or Metroplex Joe base. Just saying, though. So you're saying like a Triptychon Terradrome or a Metroplex. Let's go with the mobile HQ would probably work. Yeah, same color scheme a little bit because they have the brown with the orange of Autobot City. I could see that. I mean, they could, but again, I feel GI Joe is kind of a poisonous IP. It's a little risky, so we'll see. We will see. It's tough to say. Like it's something where if you're gonna do a HasLab, you have your GI Joe HasLabs, you have your Transformer HasLabs. Don't put them together. Use to me HasLab items, and I still stand firm with this. HasLab items should be stuff that doesn't work for retail, whether it be size, whether it be price, whether it be character, and even then, character is debatable now at this point. But we will see. We will see. It's hard to say though, honestly, MMA Panda, because I don't think they'd want to do crossovers anytime soon unless GI Joe is having a really tough time with their HasLabs, which they have not. They have not. They're perfectly fine on their own. So why ruin a good thing? What if all of a sudden they do a Transformer crossover and the hardcore Joe fans are like, we don't want to mix the peanut butter Transformers with the GI Joe chocolate. Those are Reese's Pieces they don't want to eat. Um, where are we at here? Alice, thank you for the gold super chat, by the way. Thank you so much. George Carlin does the later Thomas the Train stuff. He did the later episodes when Ringo couldn't do it anymore. Alice Devil, did you notice that most of the Micromasters from Siege and Earthrise didn't have faction symbols on them? Why do you think that is? Paint, because a faction symbol is a deco. A faction symbol is a tampo. Budget. It's budget. So much easier that way. A million times easier. Unless you're talking sculpted, you don't want to sculpt Autobot or Decepticon logos. That goes all the way back. We did a segment with Aaron Archer, a long form, talking about repaints and retools. I think it was the Armada Beasts segment, and we were talking about how the one thing Hasbro regretted was sculpting Autobot and Decepticon logos on characters. Because if you want to do a repaint that's the opposite, you have to go back and get rid of that off of the mold, or like as I think Aaron called gated in, was gating it, where like the mold doesn't get the plastic to the bevel of the logo. I think it was called gating, Aaron. I forget what the term was that you used. Seeing Aaron's talking about the train stuff too. Aaron was talking about trains also last segment. Go check out what he was talking about too. Guys, it's not that big. I go to train shows. I go to toy shows. I go to card shows. I go to diecast shows. I went to diecast shows with my pops. I go to train shows. The train and the diecast, very tiny, very hardcore. There's a lot of money in it, but very tiny, you know? But not in the same way that, the toy industry or the video game industry is. It's apples and oranges, unfortunately. Really is. It really, really, really is. Did I miss anything else? Hope I didn't miss anything else. JR Mina, not a repaint, but since there was a teaser of Big Convoy on the Magmatron reveal, do you think we will get? I think we will get Beast Wars Second Galvatron for sure. I think we will get Big Convoy. Again, there was a time where weird Japanese exclusive characters I wouldn't imagine, but the crew of guys that we have now at Hasbro, I told you there is no such thing as an obscure character. Something like Big Convoy that would make sense as a Haslab item works just as well as a retail item. You know, that's the reality. We have Magmatron as a retail item. And yeah, you say, oh, Proto Man, we got, Dinobots, Magmatron all those years ago in 2001. Yeah. And, like it doesn't really make a difference. Um, but yeah, it's all the weird stuff. Ashnod, oh no, everything's disappearing. Let me use the other one. Let me use the other one. I have to use two screens here just to see everything because I don't want to miss questions. Ashnod, we had a train convention in April every year. They love that my son is excited for the hobby. Your son is how old? You said 10, I think I saw. My son is 10 and still loves Thomas, hates the new stuff, but still collects the old stuff. But let me ask you this, Ashnod, and again, it depends too. I don't know if you live in a big city like I live in Montreal. It's the second largest city in Canada. It's the New York of Canada, pretty much. But I don't know if your city's a big, large city. But like, how was the turnout? What was the age demo curve? Was it a lot of kids? If it was kids, how young? Was there teenagers? Curious about that. Um, David Cabal, who was your Proto Man growing up? What do you mean by that? Growing up, Proto Man was my Proto Man. No, I don't know. What do you mean by Proto Man growing up? You mean like someone who I look to for advice? Uh, I don't know. Like, I mean, my uncle was a big influence on me. Growing up, I lived in a duplex in a poor area. And because we didn't have a lot of money growing up, we lived pretty much in the house that my mother grew up in. And that's really good because then you don't have to worry about rent or anything because it was owned by we lived in a duplex, which is like three separate units. And the bottom floor was where my grandmother lived in that house, geez, since like the 40s, 50s. Geez, I don't even know where that starts. And then upstairs was me and my family, my mom, my dad, and my sister, and our amount of dogs and cats and turtles and everything that we had in that zoo. And then the basement was my uncle that lived there too. So we all lived, in the poor area of Côte de Neige. It is what it is. But my uncle was a huge influence on me growing up. Primarily because he was a educated individual who was very charismatic. He also was a big fitness guy. He liked working out. He liked sports. He was a comedian. He was funny. So kind of, he was probably a big influence on me. But he wasn't a toy collector. He was quite the minimalist. Where my father is the toy collector. So he was an influence in a different way. I'm an amalgam of a lot of things. I a lot of my uncle, a lot of my father, and a lot of my mother. A lot of kind of the three of those. We're all products of our upbringings, and those three people were obviously there a majority of my life growing up. So if you care about those kind of answers, um, let's see. Gating is something else. Okay, thank you. Remember you said I forget what the term was, Aaron. I know you mentioned grinding and welding, but you mentioned something where like they cordon off an area or something. You mentioned something like that too. I apologize that I don't remember it. Billy wasn't riding the weirdest Transformer Japanese exclusive, Punking the Bear. No, no. Let's talk about bringing over Kiss Play stuff. Wouldn't that be the weirdest? You know? Or is it just recently? I was recently like I was sorting pieces, Yeah, nothing beats Kiss Play parts. Imagine you're selling kiss play accessories and you go, Proto, why is that like just the half butt of some naked girl and her panties? That's what happens when you collect kiss play. I was literally sorting all my parts and I was putting them in little Ziploc bags so you don't lose anything. And and it's like, oh, here's Marissa Fairborn's half of her butt for when she's not sitting in the car. You know, you want to talk weird and Japanese? We're talking kiss play, and I wouldn't have it any other way because I freaking love kiss play. Love it, love it. The more weird, the better. Um, his dad, David Quall, as far as someone with knowledge and wisdom of nerd culture. Ooh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. It was a different time. Um, I was always in grade school, I was the kid who would always like when he would get the latest issue of a magazine of something, I'd be the one bringing it in. So like video game magazines were a really big thing as a kid. Game Pro, Nintendo Power, EGM, Electronic Gaming Monthly. I know I'm forgetting another one, Game Players. That was another one that was popular in the 90s. I used to bring those in. I was like the knowledge guy, and look how it is today. Not much has changed really. So I kind of, you know, I kind of don't really have an answer for that one because I was the one always striving to get knowledge. And then when I got the internet in 1996, yeah, I got the internet in 96. And then it was just this madness. I just have all the knowledge of the history of the world at my fingertips. Oh, I doubled down like crazy. I went nuts. Oh, there was a question about Motormaster. I am so sorry. Hold on, hold on. Oh, God. Where is the question about Motormaster? That's why, because everything gets pushed up. There's so many questions. Sometimes I miss stuff. I apologize. Thank you for. Where's the Motormaster question? Was it a super chat? Was it? Super chat about Motormaster. One moment. Thomas IP. Can you explain? No. I didn't see the Motormaster. Oh, here we go. Sorry, I missed that. Do you prefer Motormaster to transform with as a whole truck with trailer, or should just be the truck that transforms? I'm not for the former, but not overall don't care. Well, I'm always, and this is just my own bias. I'm really big on screen accuracy, and I feel that Motormaster works with the trailer transforming with him, but they managed to visually were able to do that with the commander class, and it also turned out pretty well. But I really like how Motormaster's toy head looks, and no one really talks about it. If you look how Motormaster's head looks in animation, if you look at his original G1 toy head, he has a very G1 Optimus Prime toy head. So I would like it that combining with the trailer would be the animation accurate Flero Deary look with that head sculpt, and then the Optimus Prime looking head that's more like toy accurate would be the one that could separate. I just opened up a can of worms, but that's something I would like to see, me personally, you know? Um, so I hope that answers that. Sorry I missed that one. So sorry. Uh, Mikey Louie, more important question. What is for dinner? VCXZ, I'll get to your question in a moment. So I actually took a screenshot for this. So it's not what's for dinner, it's what I had yesterday. So we have a fast food chain here in Quebec. It's called La Fleur's. One really popular kind of thing in Quebec, in Montreal, is it's called casse-croûte, which is like hot dogs, hamburgers, French fries. It's where poutine comes from. And so yeah, Proto Man went a little crazy. They had a deal. Hot dogs were 99 cents Canadian, so that's like geez, like 60 cents American. So I bought a shit ton of hot dogs, a whole thing of fries, a family thing of fries, ate most of the onion rings. Couldn't wait for those because those get cold quickly. So yeah, 10 hot dogs, family size fry, bunch of onion rings between me and the wife. And yeah, we destroyed. You could guess which ones are Proto Man's. Proto Man ate the lion's share of the only ketchup ones because I'm a psycho. And then she had those. I took the picture because I had a feeling this was going to come up today. So there you go. I think of you guys even when I'm eating. Uh, I hope you enjoy it. But yeah, it's really good, really good. I think that whole photo was really cheap too. I think it was like $10 for the hot dogs, $10 for all those hot dogs. I think the fries was the most expensive. I think that was 5.99, and then the onion rings were like 2.99. So it was pretty cheap for everything. And we usually don't go out to eat much, but when it's cheap like that, and it was Friday night, like, let's spoil ourselves, balance it out a bit. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Once in a while, you got to balance it out. You have to have a good cheat day. I didn't get a poutine though. I wasn't in the mood for a poutine, so I had it last time I was there. VCXZ with the super chat. Speaking of IPs, the recent Thundertron makes me wonder why Transformers doesn't cross over with Zoids. Robot aliens meet robot beast. You know what it is? I love Zoids. I actually have a Zoids model kit right behind there. I have one of them. I love Zoids because I love the model kit stuff. And it just doesn't sell well in America. I don't know why. Zoids always finds its market in Japan. Granted, that's where it kind of was born, even though the trademark technically was born here. Um, but my goodness, like every time they bring Zoids, it's like it has a little bit of success and then it dies. Like Chaos Century and then Zero series. It had a little bit of, that Toonami Adult Swim success, but toys didn't really sell well. And that's it. I'm part of a Zoids group on Facebook even. Always kind of curious to see what the next stuff is. It just doesn't have a market in America. So for Hasbro to do something would be kind of weird, you know? Like they tried to do Zoids. What was it? Zoids Wild, and it didn't catch. No one cared, unfortunately. And everyone who's really hardcore already bought the Japanese stuff before it's imported. So then when it's finally like localized, if you will, no one buys it. And then they go, oh, what has less paint, or the plastic's not good, or it's not a model kit, or they don't like the toys. So it's a tough one. Where are we at? David Cabal, dang, you're making me hungry now. Well, David, you're lucky. You're 3 hours behind, so it's not out of the question to go grab a bite. It's only like what? It's 6:40 right now, so you could get some good food. But I feel sorry for all my brothers and sisters it's almost 10 p.m. now, and then trying to go track down food. Well, it's a Saturday night. There's somewhere you can probably find. Timmy K. Point XR, dang proto. What are you gonna cleanse yourself for tonight's dinner? My neighbor actually, when I was coming home, he gave me. He's a really cool German guy. He gave me a whole bunch of homemade cookies that he made. I think his wife made it actually. She does poetry and stuff. Really cool dude. I like him. Shout out to Klaus, really cool guy. What I love about him is every time I get a package in the mail and they leave it on my doorstep, he actually calls me and he'll let me know, hey, there's a pack, or he'll text me. He's like, hey, there's a package. Are you home? If you're not, I'll go out and get it for you and hold it for you. And he's really chill. He's really chill. But he gave me some cookies, so I'm probably gonna try those. They look really good. German chocolate can't go wrong. So probably gonna have those. Not much though. It's already getting late, and I had a decent sized supper tonight, so just had like Asian stuff, bok choy and everything. Keep it simple. Thundertron Liger Zero. I like Sniper Wolf. That's one of my favorites with Naomi. Drift King. I'm assuming that's what it stands for. DRT is King, so the Drift King. With the $5 super chat. What franchise do you think would be cool, but would never been like Warhammer 40K X Transformers or Gundam X Transformers? Well, Gundam Transformers is the obvious, even though they're like two separate sizes, because every Gundam is like Devastator sized or more. So Transformers are already kind of out of scale with Gundam. It's kind of like they did the Transformers Mazinger crossover, and that was like a manga that like no one translated or read online, which I find fascinating. And all the Transformers are out of scale with the Mazinger guys. So like the super robot stuff doesn't really mix well with Transformers just because of the scale. You'd have to make all the Transformers would have to be like Gundam size for it to work. You would think it would be fun for a story, like, oh, what if like during the 1 year war in 0079, like all of a sudden the Transformers come through a portal and the Decepticons join the Xeon and the Autobots join the Federation. And then they start using Autobot technology. on the Federation technology, and then they make some brand new RX-78 TF, you know, which is an artificial intelligence Gundam or something. Like, there's so many ideas that could be there. You know, you get some free ideas right there, Bandai. You know, um, but yeah, Star Trek Enterprise Fortress Maximus, that could happen though because Hasbro had the IP at one time. This is more like impossible ones because it's hard to say how much Bandai would want to mix those eggs, unfortunately. T Formers 2002. I wish I could get some food. I'm working till midnight tonight, and none of the store restaurants in my area are open after 11. Oh man, that sucks, brother. Montreal, like everything closes at 5 p.m. on weekends except restaurants. That's when foodie culture comes to life. If you're going to like Walmart or something, you're screwed at 5 p.m. That effing sucks. When we travel to like anywhere else and like it's the weekend and we go, oh, that's right, everything's still open after 5 p.m. I don't know why they do that here. It's just a thing, but restaurants are at least open. So that kind of sucks that restaurants are closed. I mean, restaurants should be open. I mean, obviously, you must have like a 24-hour McDonald's at least, you know, or like a Dairy Queen. I know some Dairy Queens do 24, and Burger King usually they do just drive through, at least how it was for me back in the day. JR Mina with the super chat of 125 Filipino pesos. I always love saying that. I don't know why. Because it makes it sound like it's a lot of money to people. Everyone's like, oh, JR, oh, snap. Just making it rain. Speaking of franchise crossovers, Transformers X Macross Robotech. Again, that would be Bandai, unfortunately. So they would finally have an updated G1 toy accurate Jetfire. Yeah, that's what everyone would love. Well, that's how you would write the story. The story would be Jetfire crosses through a time portal into the future year of 2010 on Macross Island. Actually, I'm doing the Robotech dub, but he would be infiltrating. He'd use a hologram for his pilot, and everyone would be like, "Wow, who's that ace pilot? That's better than Max or Roy. That's defeating all the Zentradi. And it's Jetfire. That Red Valkyrie. They could write a story like that. Again, you just got a free one from me. Enjoy it. It's so easy to write some of this stuff. That's why I wrote comics for so long because it pops into your head and it writes itself. Princeton, thank you for the super chat, by the way. But no, it could be done. It could be done. It's just the problem is number one, the Robotech trademark with Harmony Gold in the West. That's a nightmare. Combined with Macross and how they have like a toy license with Bandai in the East. That's a nightmare. So you got those two problems right there, unfortunately. But that falls into that impossible category for the time being, and why we have all that Jetfire headache. Prince and Phalanx 59, I would love Battlestar Galactica Transformer crossovers. Well, that one, I guess. What are they called there? What are they? I'm not too familiar with Battlestar Galactica. I have a friend who kept making me want to watch it, and I just didn't have the time. What are they called? The Zion, the Zeon, the robot ones there. I wish I had a better answer, my friend. That's my ignorance area. Horned Owl, they already mixed Transformers and Gundam. It's called Star Saber. Yeah, it's Gundam Zeta is Star Saber. They literally looked at Zeta and Double Zeta, and they're just like, and the Star Saber was born. James Hobson, Mask needs to make a comeback. They keep trying, and it keeps they keep trying. Ask Aaron Archer about how he would have redone Mask. It's called G.I. Joe gets the transformation cog and puts it in their vehicles, and Mask is born. That's the short end of it. Aaron Archer has a whole story for that. Kevin PH, if Grimlock wielded the matrix of leadership, would he arise like Rodimus Prime, or would his prime name be Tyrannosaurus Prime? The transformation thing, like the evolutionary change, only happens because you're connected to the will of Primus, a chosen one. That's always been my belief. Like the transformation from Hot Rod to Rodimus Prime is a chosen one thing. That's why when the Matrix is put into Ultra Magnus, nothing happens. That's why when the Matrix is put into Optimus Prime, oh, I got more memory now, but nothing happens. Uh, Pat Lee, when he did War Within, it kind of started that idea that, oh, maybe if you put the Matrix in Orion Pax, he became Optimus Prime. I like that idea, but that's only because now we know that Optimus Prime is connected also to the original 13 as the 13th or the Arisen, you know? So there's that connection there. Prime should be able to do it. Hot Rod should be able to do it. You put it in Grimlock, you'll have the same results like Ultra Magnus. Grimlock feel like weird stomach, something in stomach right now. Don't feel good. Bleh. And then he spits out the Matrix out of his mouth in in Dino mode, and everyone laughs. And then we move on with our lives. I don't think it would work. We had King Grimlock. He wore his crown in the comics. He was happy to be a leader that way. That's how it works with that. Mikey and Louie, I still vote for Haslab Life-Size Kiss Play Girls. Oh, you want to give me a life-size Xiao Xiao with Chinese outfit? Let's pull out that book and get demonetized. Ugh. Let's get demonetized. Let's get demonetized. Let's get demonetized by YouTube. By YouTube. Yuki Ashima. Yuki Ashima's beautiful art that will get us demonetized by YouTube. Oh, what are you doing, Kremzik, you pervert? And you know what's amazing? If you read it like Japanese style, this is the cover. If you read it American style, this is the cover. Kisupre Transforma. Kiss Play Transformers. It's all like innocent. Oh, actually, no, it isn't innocent. Look at that. Whoa, Atari, where's your panties? Oh, that's when Starscream. Let's get demonetized by YouTube. And the even more rare Episode 0 Wonder Festival exclusive, never scanned ever on the internet, in Proto Man's possession. One day you guys will get to see it. You can take a guess why I bought that one. Ooh yeah, all from the book archive. Oh yeah. I like how people covering their what's up watching the Royal Ember. What's up, Michael Butcher? You came at a bad time. Where are we at here? Where are we at? And that's not a bad Greg Berger impression. I actually am very good at voice acting. I always wondered, like, that's like one of the last bucket list things for me, you know? Yeah, she got possessed mid bathroom break. Um, that's one of the last like bucket list things for me is the voice act a character. I got to write for Transformers. I got to help design Transformers. I'd love to voice a Transformer. Even if it's like a bot, you know? I would love to voice a Transformer. Insert shocked animated Optimus Prime face. How much time we got left? Oh, we are over. We are over already. We end it with Kiss Play. Isn't that amazing? We end it with Kiss Play. That's how the world works. With Kiss Play. Oh, there it is. There's the whole Kiss Play collection. Kissu Playa. Anyways, voice Hot Rod. I'd like to voice an original character, but if you give me Hot Rod, I'd be down for that. Patreon. No, I one day, guys, no joke. What I want to do is I'm going to do a segment when I'm done the cards upstairs. I'm going to take over the kitchen table and we're going to do like a cool like book reading, like all my rare books. Like I just wanted to show you guys something. Like, let's turn the camera around. Oh, I just screwed up the camera. Oh, whatever. I got so many rare Transformer books, art books, all kinds of stuff, all the rare trading cards, all so many. Like you have no idea. And there goes the camera. This is why we don't touch the camera. There we go. So I would love to do like where we sit down, we go through some of those rare books together, and yeah, and we'll enjoy them all together. Doesn't have to be a Patreon thing. We could just do it on the live stream, and people can like go, oh, that's cool. Let's check that out. So it'd be pretty cool. I got to meet all the Hot Rod voice actors, even Judd Nelson. Good, photos with Judd Nelson's, autograph with Judd Nelson's. Like, the Hot Rod stuff bucket list is pretty much taken care of. But voicing Hot Rod, yeah, that would be cool. But we'll see. David Cabal, time flies after you have fun. Proto Man needs to do an after dark stream. It'd be Transformer Sag Kiss Play Edition, and I'll have Yuki Ashima as my co-host. It's a lot. It's just a tower of books. And they're all art books, Japanese stuff. Like, just let me just pull one out at random here. Like we got like Master Force, kids books, like just like all kinds of cool stuff with original art. Like I have so many of these, so much of this crazy stuff, and like none of it is scanned, none of it is out there. You know, love that stuff. I have so much of it. Because back in the day, I would go to BotCons, and everyone was like, "Oh, I got to get my 84, 85, 86 guys." I already got that out of my system, and so I was getting all the weird rare stuff. People are going to BotCons and buying figures. I was buying books and magazines and everything. Good stuff. Good stuff. Anyways, guys, we're done for tonight. I think we had enough fun. Next time we're going to be probably talking will be Monday or Tuesday, definitely Tuesday for obvious reasons. But we're going to look forward to it again. Thank you for all the love and support on the podcast. Thank you for all the super chats. A lot of great super chats today. Sorry for missing one of them. That always happens. Everything comes up quickly with all the questions and everything. But yeah, thank you for all the love and support, guys. All the great super chats, all the YouTube members, the beautiful green names. Again, if you want to continue supporting the podcast or help us out here, again, there's Patreon down there. You could join the Patreon link that's in the pinned comment below. If not already, I'll add it in the replay. Join the Patreon is the best way to help support the podcast. If you can't do Patreon, we also have YouTube membership, which is that join button that's down there. Those are the beautiful green names that asked all the beautiful questions this weekend. A lot of cool stuff. But thank you for everything. Great stuff as always. Always love hanging out with you guys. Now I'm going to go grab some food because I guess hot dogging is where it's at. Mm-mm-mm. Take care, everyone. Love y'all. And this is the Transformer Slag Podcast. I am Proto Man, and you are some cool people. I'm out of here.